So this next lesson is about using technology to graph, and the first part of that is using a program like Microsoft Excel. So Microsoft Excel is part of your Office 365 suite. You can open it up through there, but don't just work on it out of the web app. Actually open it up actually in the Excel program. So pause the video while you open up Excel. So now you should be unpaused and you should have Excel open, and you should have a plain book just like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a table of values, and this is from your lesson 4 assignment. So I'm just going to take that table of values that we have. I'm just going to put them in. So -3, -2, -1, and there's actually like faster ways to fill in a table. I'm just going to show you like just the easy peasy. 9, 6, 3, 0, -3. And you'll see here that like your X terms will be your A column and your Y terms will be the B column. So I'm just going to show you this one as an example. So I'm going to make it bigger there. So now we're actually going to graph this. So how do you graph that? So how I do it is I select my values, then I go to insert, and you can see you have all these different types of graphs you can insert. You can insert a graph like that and you can kind of see them poke up like what they're going to be, but if you see that with the line one, which is what you'd want to do, it actually gives you 2 different lines, and you don't want it to plot like that. You want to plot them as an X and Y variable, so you don't want this 2D line. That's an error that kids usually make. So you actually want to take this XY scatter, it's called. And you can have one that has a line already in it, and that's fine because these points line up perfectly, or you can just have it like that. I actually like doing it out of line. I'm going to show you guys how to add a line. So you'll see here that it gives you kind of like a chart title, and if you were doing this for a lab or whatever, you can put your title here, or you can type right in there. You also have lots of different things you can do up here. You can change your format of it, all that kind of stuff. There's tons of stuff you can do with Excel charts. For our purposes, we're just kind of graphing it and seeing what it looks like. And I'm also going to show you how to add a trend line, what's called, and this is going to be that equation of the line. So you actually right click on a point. So again, you right click on a point and you'll see these options. What you're going to do is go down to add trend line. And you'll see here, you can see that it's added the trend line right there already. And you'll see over here, there's lots of different types of trend lines. And as you get older into your math world, you'll learn how to do logarithmic and polynomials. But right now we're just doing linear equations. You want to pick your linear one. And what I'm actually going to do is display the equation on the chart. So I'm going to click this box down here to display the equation. And if you guys look right here, it actually has the equation y equals to -3x. So if you go back to your assignment, that should actually be one of your, well, if we were doing equations of line, you'd have that. But you can actually see that that's this graph here. So you could like match that if you wanted to. That's actually how you do the assignment. If you haven't done the assignment, you actually click and drag and drop. So that's how you do it. That's the simplest way to do it. And we have these points that perfectly line up. But sometimes you might get, I'm going to add new sheets. Sometimes you might get more complicated numbers. So maybe I start at -2 again, -1, 0. Oops, I'm going to fix that. -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And maybe these numbers are a little bit bigger. Maybe they're like 250, then maybe 514, then maybe 742, and then, I don't know, 1100, and then let's go, 1275. So I'm just kind of like making up numbers here. And what if you're asked to graph that? Well, on a chart paper or in your notebook, that might be very difficult, but on Excel, it's actually much easier. So again, we select them all, then we go to insert, then we go to our X and the Y scatter, and you just pick these ones. You don't actually pick this, because if you pick this one, you can actually see our line is all jagged, and you want a straight line. And these points aren't perfectly linear, but they make a linear trend, what's called. So we actually just choose this one. And then we right click and we're going to go add a trend line. And we want linear, and I'm going to display my equation on chart. And this is what my equation would be. Like, there's no way you're going to figure out that equation without technology, but now I can see that my equation would be y is equal to 252.46x plus 768.77. So 768.77 is where it crosses the y-axis right here, and then this is our slope, 252.46. So this is like kind of a neat, fast way to do it on Excel. You can watch this video over and over again. I kind of went through it fast, but again, you can watch it again if you want to see how to graph it on Excel. You can also use graphing calculators, but since we don't have graphing calculators in grade 9, Excel is your best bet to use technology to graph.